when drawing two lines on a graph, right? So we've got our Cartesian plane, and please excuse the fact that I'm not using a ruler here. So we have our x-axis and our y-axis. So one of the options that we can have is pretty much we can have two lines that will intersect one another. So here, let's draw one line here. So this will represent, let's say, equation number 1. And let's say, I'll use a different color here, we have another line that intersects it as such. So we have here two linear systems. So this is equation 2, let's label it. So we have equation 1, equation 2, and they all meet at one point of intersection. Okay, so this would represent the point of intersection. So this is one possibility for a linear system. So two lines that actually will cross at some point on the graph is one of these options. And so what's so significant about their slopes? Well, their slopes are going to be different from one another. Okay, so the slopes will be different. Now, in terms of intercepts, well, they'll be different, obviously, because depending on the two lines, right, where along the x-axis, right, will they intersect. So also the intercepts will also be different. Okay, unless we have a straight line that goes vertically as such, so it will only have one intercept, and that would be the x-intercept. And if you had another line that would go as such horizontally and would never cross both an x and a y-intercept, right? But if you have two lines that will not, that do have some kind of a slope that is either non-zero or undefined, you will pretty much have both an x and y intercept. Now, in terms of number of solutions, well, only one possible solution, and that's right here, right? Of course, if it's a straight line and they cross, they're only going to cross once. Now, another possibility that we can have, and let me just put up a Cartesian plane. Let me use actually black for, so we have x and y here, so x, we have y. And we can have the following possibility. We might have a line that goes as such, and we may have another line that will go as such. Okay, so if we have two lines that are going as such, right, these are both, right, we're going to consider these parallel lines to one another. So what is so significant about parallel lines in terms of the slope? So if they're parallel, right, their slopes will be the same. So the slopes will be the same, right? So if we had our equation y is equal to mx plus b, and that happens to be, let's say, our format, right? That's our format of choice for graphing straight lines, that the value in front of in front of x, when written in this format, will be our slope. So this will be exactly the same with both linear systems. So now, what will the intercepts be? Well, the intercepts will also be different. These intercepts will be different. And will there be a solution? Obviously, parallel lines will never cross. So are there any solutions? There are going to be pretty much none. Okay, so no solutions will be present. So when we're solving, we will not be able to solve such an equation. Now, the other possibility that we can have is, so let me start off with our Cartesian plane, x-axis, our y-axis here, and let's draw our two lines. And so one of our lines is going to go as such, and our second line is actually, and let's see how accurate I can do this, will be as such. So what you're going to have pretty much is the slopes will also be the same. but you'll have two completely different equations, right? So here we'll have an example of an equation, right? So let's have here y is equal to x plus 2. Right? Then we'll have another equation that will look as such. 2y equals 2x plus 4. They're going to look like they're completely different equations, but if you look at this equation here at the bottom and you divide each term, the 2y, the 2x, the 4, by a number like 2, you will be able to notice that both of these two equations are exactly the same. So what can we say about their intercepts? Well, if they're the same line, same type of line, and they overlap one another, then, of course, they will also be the same line. And in terms of how many solutions, well, if you look at two lines that overlap one another, they're going to represent every single point in which that other previous line is going to be crossing. So in other words, really, if we're looking at how many solutions, well, we're looking at pretty much an infinite, sorry about my eyes, using this tablet here, so an infinite number of solutions with such. So the next following videos that we're going to see, that I'm going to look into, is we're going to look at actually trying to graph these type of equations and how to identify these type of equations, whether we're solving either by graphing, by substitution, or by elimination.